Hello everybody, it is Liam, the Deaf Doom Metalhead, and I'm doing a 2021 collection update. All these releases in this video have been released this year, be it on tape or CD. That has been the format I've been going to this year for nearly everything, just because of the pandemic. I mean, I have got some vinyl obviously, and the end of the year list will show a lot of vinyl, but for this update there's a lot of stragglers here and some things you might not even heard of, so hopefully you'll discover some new music and it'll make your day. But before I go into the collection update, I want to do a YouTube shout out. So I like doing these because when I started doing YouTube, it helped me no end with people discovering my channel when bigger channels mentioned my name. So for this one I'm going to mention the chap called This Is Music. His YouTube channel should pop above my head. He's a newcomer to the scene. He is from Denmark and his music taste expands all genres of heavy metal, be it black metal, death metal, thrash. He also goes into hard rock, prog, and I love channels like that where they kind of broaden horizons, because I'm kind of niche in what I do. I like extreme metal, and that's probably obvious in most of my videos. I mean, I like to listen to other genres obviously, but my go-to and my knowledge firmly is in death metal and doom metal and a little bit of black metal these days, and you know, that's just how it is. But other channels I like to watch, you know, who talk about other things other than what I listen to, because I know what I like and it's nice to kind of listen to something completely different. So go give him a sub if you may, and please tell him I sent you. Great channel. His intro music is superb. I think it was a band he was in because it's very, very heavy, and that was the main reason I subbed to him. And he's got great content for a guy who's only just started out, and he's already a natural, so go and show him some love. But anyway, let's carry on with the update. Hopefully this camera looks clear, by the way. I smashed my old phone. As you may have noticed, my older videos looked like shit. They were reflecting on the glass because the lens was cracked. So yeah, treated myself to a new Pixel 6, and hopefully now you can see me in all my horrible glory up close. But anyway, I digress. So the first one is a tape that was put out through Drycoff Records. This is the second release this year from this band. They originally did a demo earlier in the year, and now this is the EP. And this is Visions from Beyond, and the new EP is called Drawing Down the Darkness. This is a one-man project based in Bristol by a guy called Ollie Mason, who I have actually met in person. Really, really nice guy, really tall bloke. And for a one-man project you think, okay, programmed drums, there's none of that. Everything on this EP is done by Ollie, so the guitars, the vocals, the drums, the bass, everything. He is essentially a one-man band. And it's just amazing that someone can do it that well as well and get it signed in the first year, as well as the EP, you know, the demo as well. So, you know, great work, mate. But the music, so the demo earlier in the year I picked up and I featured it in my UK death metal videos, and that had, well, to my ears it sounded a lot like Esoteric, Evoke, and it had that death doom vibe, but more in the vein with the harmonies drawn out and a kind of a weird kind of acousticy plinky kind of chords he uses. And the drums were very start stop, they weren't like blasty or anything like that. It was very methodical, very, you could say it was leaning into almost stoner doom at one part, and then it would go really into the funeral doom. But this, he stepped it up a lot more in the like rhythm sections, so you get a lot more groove in the riffs, there's more chug in the guitar playing, you know, there's more emphasis on the death metal side than more the doom side as the demo was. So he's kind of changed it up a bit there, because I know when I spoke to him he's proper into his death metal, and that's his wheelhouse. And this to me sounds more like what, when I spoke to him, what I would have expected to hear. I mean, he's got a very niche sound already, and this project stands out completely different from other UK death metal bands that I've heard this year. This certainly, he has a guitar playing style that fits his music, and listening to the demo and the EP and the totally different songs, you can hear that that is all him. Well, it obviously is because it's a one-man project, but he hasn't borrowed from anyone. It's very much his own unique playing, and it's, yeah, a really, really cool listen. But what made this even more special that I didn't know about, so the cassette looks like that, standard white. But in the J card, I don't know if my camera will pick this up or not, but my name, it's probably not going to focus, is it? But anyway, my name is in there. The Deaf Doom Metalhead is featured in, along with Mark, G with a C, Ken from Ken's Death Metal Crypt, a load of bands I love as well, which was a really nice surprise because I had no idea. So thank you, Ollie, for doing that, because I didn't know you were going to do that. Very, very appreciated. And it helps that I like the music as well. But yeah, really cool release. Much preferred this over the demo. I like the demo, but this is a big step up. So when he does his full length, I imagine it'll be even better. So go check that one out. That's through Drycoff. I'll obviously leave links below like I always do, and if I look over there, it's because I've got some notes. Now, next one I literally only got yesterday, and I've been listening to it constantly. This came all the way from Canada, Toronto to be precise. 2021 year release, obviously. This is their third full length, and I had to pre-order this because I knew if I didn't, I'd never get it. The new one from Chasm Dweller, and this is called Flesh Crusade. Now, this is a two-piece, like I say, from Toronto, and it is insane how cool this is. This is really cool. So they formed in 2019, and I think it was Brian Arkham and his YouTube channel that pointed me into their direction. I checked them out, and their last release had like a green background. I never managed to pick it up, and I thought I'm not going to miss anything else from them. So as soon as they announced they were doing another one as a pre-ordered it instantly. For some reason, postage from Canada to the UK is really cheap, cheaper than the States, and I don't know why. And it turns up really quickly as well. This turned up when it was posted within less than a week, which is insane considering I've waited sometimes weeks for certain packages from around the world. But the tape looks like that, which I thought was really cool. You can't see the tape inside, it's completely covered. And what's really weird about this is a full length that's slightly different. So you got, I think it is, if I remember rightly, I think 3 or 4 tracks on the A side, and then there's 1 track on the B side. But the B side track is about 21 minutes long. And you think, oh, it must be some really dirgy, slow doom song. It really isn't. It's like a whole new album, but just 1 track. It's crazy. It's really cool. I mean, this band, this one especially, it was a massive step up. It's very brutal. The guitar tone, the drums, everything sounds spot on. It's really fucking heavy, and I mean like really heavy. And that 21-minute track, I was kind of like, oh, okay, cool. It's going to be really doomy, really slow. It goes all over the place, and I absolutely love it. It's so heavy, and it wasn't boring. It didn't get bored and thought, oh, come on, hurry up. You know, kept going, kept my interest. Background album for sure. You're working. That worked perfectly for me, and I've spun this at least 4 times since I've got it. Really impressed with that, and it also came with like this weird little obi strip with some cool. Dropped on the floor. Yeah. How professional is that? Yeah, some skulls as well on the obi strip. So yeah, really cool release, and I'm really happy with that. So that'll feature quite high at the end of the year, I reckon, because that was really cool. Right, next 2 are from a French label. Now, the first one is an American band, and the cover was the reason I picked it up. The record label in question I will put down here because I cannot pronounce it, but they do some really cool underground, nasty black and death metal bands. And the first one is Drawn and Quartered. Now these guys are based out of Seattle, formed in '94, and this is their 8th full length. Now I believe there's only 1 core original member and then 1 left, and has come back for this album, and then, you know, it's a 3-piece, which you can see there. But the artwork is fucking amazing. I absolutely love the artwork, and you know, looking at that, I kind of knew I was going to enjoy it. So this is old school sounding death metal, but more in the thrashier, very old school vein. So it's not like that brutal breakdowns or nothing like that. It's pure speedy, nasty, like old school sounding death metal, which you'd expect from a band from 1994. Very aggressive, very blasty. It's got that kind of blackened edge to it almost, but it's just pure thrashy death metal to me. Very nasty, savage sounding, like, you know, the one that, you know, you get punched in the face with a broken bottle, you know, that kind of vibe. So yeah, and the artwork is just fucking awesome. Love it. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. But then the PR rep for this label that put that album out contacted me to say, do I check out some of the band's releases? And I said to him, I've already picked up that one. We went, well, let me send you this one. So he sent me the latest from the band Autokrator. This album's called Persecution. This is their 4th full length. They formed in 2014. They're a French band, and I believe they are a 2-piece. And the drummer on this is the drummer from Benighted, if you know them. So you can expect a very blasty, very heavy album. That is exactly what this is. If you imagine Hate Eternal and Immolation and they made an album together, it would sound like this to me. very, very heavy. It's got a Roman Empire theme to it, I believe, and the cover kind of sold it to me. It's got a blackened edge as well, and the kind of vocal delivery and the way it kind of generates the kind of atmosphere. CD looks like that, which I thought was really cool. And yeah, this is just fucking like a sledgehammer. I mean, you put this on, the bass on it is ridiculous, and like I say, the drumming on it is fantastic, which gives it that really heavy edge. The only downside I don't like to this album is the last track, which is called Apocalypsis. I don't know if you can see it there. It is just a spoken word, and it sounds like either a Roman general or someone is reciting something to kind of end the album. So the album, you know, what we've got, 6 tracks? 5 tracks of music, and then the 6th one is just a spoken word bit at the end that goes on for like 2 to 3 minutes. So it left me hanging, because I was expecting like some kind of blast or some kind of guitar riff to kind of come out of nowhere, but it doesn't turn up at all. So being the end track, it doesn't really matter, because you just turn off the album if you're not bothered by it, or if you are bothered by it like me. But yeah, weird ending, and it must mean something to put it on there to the band, but for me, musically it was superb, it didn't need it on there. But yeah, really happy with that, really, really heavy album. Now, next one was recommended to me by the YouTube channel Metal Minds. Anthony is almost like a Ken's death metal crypt these days. He just has his finger on the pulse of all old school death metal bands. Anything new, he's telling me about it before even I've heard about it. And you know, he's a proper collector, you know, and he's got his, you know, his head knows what he wants, and he, you know, legend. But he recommended to me this band from Holland. This is Funeralhall. And this album's called Dreadfully Expired. This is their 3rd full length. They formed in 2006? Yeah, 2006. And I won't lie, that cover there, looking at it, I kind of thought new wave British heavy metal style, classic heavy metal vibes, speed metal maybe. No, this is brutal, old school sounding death metal in the vein like Autopsy, very nasty, horrible sounding death metal, and I really like this. This is really, really good. Bit thrashy, you know, very nasty, very raw. And when they sent this cassette, it came with like a shitload of flyers, ticket stubs to certain bands from their country that I've played, stickers, pins, you know, which are on the battle jacket. It was really, really cool. It had a really old school vibe to it. Being a kid from the 2000s, I didn't get to experience that, so it was really nice to kind of have that feel when it turned up. J-Card looks like that, and it's got dead bodies and all sorts of things like that into it with all the lyrics. Yeah, really, really cool release, and a band like totally new on me. I mean, you look at the picture of them, they're all wearing balaclavas, and you think, ooh, what's all that about? A very, very savage band. But musically, you know, really good fun, really good listens. If you like bands like Autopsy and that kind of vein of death metal, give this a go. Don't let the cover deceive you, because it is really, really cool. And the band name, Funeralhall, kind of gives it away. But yeah, really, really like that. That was really fun. Right, next one is a CD, and it is a band that makes me feel old. Considering I'm only 32, this band make me feel old. So they have the collective age. There were all 3 of them. It's a 3-piece from the Massachusetts. They're an American band. Formed in 2018, and all 3 members were born between 2003 and 2004. The band is called Wretched Inferno, and this is called Decayed Butchery. This was put out through Cavernous Records here in the UK and Frozen Screams in the States. Now, this is their debut album, and considering how young they are, it's insane how cool this is. So this is a death metal album that crosses all subgenres of death metal almost. Every song is slightly different in style. Musically it's played 100%. The production, the execution, everything is spot on. It's amazing when I looked up how young these guys are and how well, you know, they do it all, and their knowledge of all these different styles, because it must be like a massive sponge that just soaked up all this death metal and just poured it into their music. It's crazy, absolutely crazy how good this is. You've got slammy parts, blackened death metal, thrashy death metal, you know, gore grindy vibes to it. It's got everything. So if you're a fan of death metal, I mean, there'll be one song at least on this album that you'll enjoy. There they are there, looking all edgy and angry. CD looks like that. I think Frozen Screams did the tape. But yeah, this was amazing. A really savage release. So if you're into your death metal of any kind, go give this a go, because you will not be disappointed. That whole album, every song is slightly different, so it keeps you really interested. So I really enjoyed that. Right, what's next? The next one is a Finnish death metal band, which most people would probably expect I already have in my collection. I've had this for a while now, and that is the new Mobific. This is called Ominous Seep of Putridity. This is a head split release, and this is amazing. So a lot of people have been talking about Cerebral Rot, which I've got up there, the new one of that. I think these guys do it, you know, slightly better in that kind of style. So like Cerebral Rot, I've got that kind of swampy, very reverb heavy death metal, very guttural, lots of pinch harmonics, and these guys are very similar in style, but they've got more of a rawer edge to them, I feel. This is also a 3-piece, and I don't think these guys are very old either. These only formed last year. There's 2 demos, and then this is the debut full length, and it's amazing. I believe now you can pick it up on CD through a German label, I forget, Anthem Records I think it is. But Headsplit have done the tape. I think this is like a 3rd repress of this. Mine looks like that. There was a red one that I've seen a lot of people show. But yeah, an amazing band. You know, they'll be going far. You know, if you're doing this kind of style of death metal at the moment, everyone seems to love it. You know, whatever, you know, kind of subgenre you're into, most people will say, like, if you've got swampy kind of death metal with a bit of a doom vibe to it, it just seems to be all the rage at the moment. Especially this year anyway, with bands coming out. But this is killer. I knew I was going to like it. I looked at the logo, the artwork, heard one track and thought, fuck yeah, I'm all over that. And then when Grindfather got this in on his distro, picked it up straight away. So yeah, go check that one out. Really, really cool. The next one is even better. This is a new band that formed, I think, 2019 out of the Portland area in the States. And is a mixture of members from bands like Necrot, Rent, Vastum, there was the other one, Void Ceremony. So if you know all those bands, you'll know you'll like this. This is the new one from Decrypsy, called Emetic Communion. This came out through Life After Death and Seeds of Doom Records. This is amazing. I've seen Anthony Metal Miners show this. I think Melanie Loves Death Metal has shown this. I've seen this all over my Instagram feed, and I thought I'd never ever get it. And then it just popped up in Dry Cough Records distro. Instantly bought it. I mean, it's so good. I wish I had it on vinyl, but I just can't afford to ship it from the States. Gold tape. It sounds amazing. So if you like Death Doom, like I do, it's thick, heavy. Solo lead work has a kind of spacey, like reverb sound to it. It's beautiful. Absolutely love it. Every song goes. The production is massive. And yeah, absolutely love this. This is a really, really strong EP, and this will feature very, very high at the end of the year if I do a end of year list or something like that to justify my spending like every YouTuber does. It's insane. Absolutely insane how cool this is. Really, really happy with this. Another band with a band logo you can't read though, so you got to go by the spine. But yeah, insane. I'm going to have a sip of drink. My throat's dry. Right, next one is another EP I absolutely love, and I've spun this loads as well. This is a Caligari Records release. A band that come from Boston, and they're a 2-piece as well. They also only formed in 2020, so another new band. And this is Severed Boy with Tragic Encounters. This is, again, brilliant. Death metal with that raw, thick production, really, really heavy, and it's just got bags and bags of riffs, you know, absolutely tons of riffs. Clear shell there. But these guys, they're not doing anything different, I would say. I mean, it's very much, there's that, like I said about that death metal movement at the moment, where there's a certain style, and they've kind of got that as well. Guys are there in the J card. But the riffs is what make this brilliant, you know. It's one thing having a certain sound like other bands, but it depends how many riffs you can kind of bring to the table, what makes it stand out. So if you haven't listened to this, this is well worth your time. I got this through Dry Cough's distro as well. The artwork's pretty cool if you can make it out. But this was amazing. Another one I've only heard a few people mutter, and I kept getting this mixed up with Melting Rot, because there's an EP from that band or an album that's come out this year that's similar colour scheme and logo. And I wasn't sure what it was at first at a distance, but I picked this up, blind buy, well fucking happy. Really, really good release. And another Caligari release. This is one that's also co-released through Everlasting Spew out of Italy. This is an Italian band called Devoid of Thought, and the release is called Outer World Graves. This is brilliant as well. I mean, they're all brilliant. I wouldn't have bought another ones. Tape looks like that with some kind of spacey effects going on. And like you guessed, it is kind of space themed death metal. There's been a few releases like that this year. Borrowing in the vein of Blood Incantation, the band formed in 2016, so they've been around a while. So I wouldn't say they're copying Blood Incantation, but being how popular Blood Incantation is, there's a lot of space kind of sci-fi themed death metal, even though like Nocturnus did it first. But yeah, these guys have a more of a progressive edge though, so they're not just a death metal band, they're kind of proggy in some parts, and it goes from being very doomy to very kind of like a black metal almost vibe to it, but it's primarily just death metal through and through. But yeah, the atmosphere on it, I mean, it's quite a long album as well, which I like. I'm a Death Doom fan, so death metal, doom metal, if it's long, it's long, I don't really care. But I'd love to have this on vinyl because it fits that format so much better than cassette. And there's another release in this collection update that I feel the same about. But yeah, really, really cool. So if you haven't checked that out, go look out for that cover, and you will discover some brilliant death metal if you like that kind of sci-fi themed progressive edge to it. Right, what's next? Okay, so both these next ones are both based out of Portland. There's loads of Portland bands that have put albums out this year, but this band shares members through one EP that I absolutely love this year. Now, if you know the band Torture Rack, you know it's quite a short EP that came out this year, but the band savage, absolutely brutal, and I've been listening to that EP since I picked it up this year constantly. And this band, these two bands I'm going to show you, share members from that band. First one is Witch Vomit. This is their third EP. Band formed in 2012. They've done a few full lengths, and this is their EP for this year, called Apparent Raptures, through $20 spin. And I've never had anything from Witch Vomit before, and it's a band I've only just listened to this year. This is the first time I've ever listened to them. I've seen their logo come up. Anthony at Metal Miners gave me a code for one of their albums, which I use for the boys that travel down in the band when we do rehearsals, so I burn them CDs. But I never actually listened to it myself. I had it there and I forgot all about it. Picked up a tape because I thought I want to give them a go. This is savage. I absolutely loved, I've never heard this band before, and I know I'm already a fan, so I need to go pick up everything else by them because I feel like an idiot for not listening to them sooner. Tape looks like that. But yeah, a band that kind of have that kind of cavernous kind of death metal sound. It's very lo-fi with the vocals, so you can't really hear the vocals. But the production's really thick, very heavy, and because I listen to Torture Rack, like I said, I mentioned before, I can hear that vibe in it, and I think it's got one of the guitarists in Witch Vomit that is in Torture Rack, so the riffing is very similar. But yeah, brilliant album, EP even, really cool EP. But the next one features the drummer from Torture Rack, and he is also in this band Ænigmatum, and this is called Deconsecrate, another $20 spin release. This album, as a band, they only formed in 2017. This is their second full length, and if you like progressive death metal, it kind of takes you on a journey, and it kind of dips in and out of different styles of death metal with the blasting and the riffing and the phrasings. It goes all over the place. And this was a really, really great listen. The only downside is I wish I kind of picked up on vinyl now, because the tape doesn't do it justice. It suits the vinyl format. It's a long album, and for me tapes need to be the 25 to 35 minute mark. Anything longer than that, I need to have it on either CD or vinyl. So I will be going back to buy a different copy of this, because this is brilliant. Really, really cool. Like I said, the drummer who's in Torture Rack also plays in Skeletal Remains, I believe. And there was another band he played for, but I can't remember. But yeah, a really cool album by a band I've never heard of before. Blind Buy again, $20 spin. Normally do, they don't let you down. Shell looks like that, just a clear one with like a black card inside. But yeah, really, really powerful music. And yeah, $20 spin, always do brilliant albums. So what do you expect? So anyway, that is my collection update. All these are 2021 releases. I will leave links below so you can go check it out for yourself, see what you think. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, please consider liking the video to help me out. And if you are new to my YouTube channel, please consider subscribing. I will pimp out other videos at you now. And yeah, I will speak to you guys in the comment section below. Take care. Cheers.